I have a Carrier Synergy 2000 heat pump model 38yda036300 with a trouble code LED flashing 6. The capacitor was blown. I replaced it but no change, no chart is available. What is my problem?
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm here to help. The 6 flash code relates to compressor PTCs out of limit literally. What this means is that the compressor temperature sensors have either failed or the compressor is very hot and the control will not start it because it's too hot. If the compressor is cool and the board still shows this fault, then there may be a wiring problem with the temperature sensors or they have failed inside the compressor. If the compressor is hot, it could take hours to cool on its own. Since the capacitor had failed, it is very likely the compressor is just too hot to start and will need to cool. You can run a cold water hose over it to aid in its speedy reset. Let me know if I can help further. Thanks, Brian.
If the compressor is cold but the sensors have not reset, does that mean I need a new compressor?
Not necessarily. There should be 2 terminals on the compressor marked S1 and S2 and they will have wires going to the board with the same markings. You should check that the wiring between the compressor and terminal board is good both visually and with an ohmmeter. If you disconnect the wires at the board and check the resistance between the 2 wires with the wires still connected to the compressor, the resistance should read between 1500 and 7800 ohms, 1.5K 7.8K. This is the normal operating range of the sensors. The control is programmed to lock out when the resistance goes up to 26K 34K ohms and reset when the resistance goes down to 8400 ohms, 8.4K, or below. If the resistance is out of the normal range or does not go low enough to reset when the compressor has cooled down to the ambient temperature, and you have confirmed the wiring between the compressor terminals and the board is good, then the sensors in the compressor have failed. In order to retain compressor protection, you would have to replace the compressor. It is not recommended to put a resistor across the board terminals, effectively defeating the compressor protection. This could allow the compressor to overheat to a dangerous level. Let me know if I can help further. Thanks, Brian. Also note that even if you cool the shell of the compressor with a hose, the internal components can still retain enough heat to keep the sensors out of range. As I said earlier, it can take several hours for a compressor to cool down enough to reset. It can still even take up to an hour or more if you are running cold water over the compressor shell. Make sure you give the compressor enough time to cool down and reset before you condemn it. Brian.
The resistance is 4.7K and the code is still 6 flashes. Does that mean the control board is bad?
Okay, that means the temperature sensors are reading okay. I would recycle power to both the units and see if it resets. Leave power off for a few minutes. The board gets its low voltage power from the air handler, so you need to remove power to the air handler as well. If the board doesn't reset after that, then I would have to say yes, the board has failed. Brian.
Thanks, reset worked back on Lynn. Appreciate the help.
That's awesome. I'm glad I could help you get it up and running. Thanks for the excellent rating and thanks for using JustAnswer.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert, now visit justanswer.com/ythi.